Hey guys, this is Cindy at Genesis, and we have been discussing the Agency Setup Preferences tab, which you can access either by hitting Control A on your keyboard or going to Utilities and Preference or Utilities and Agency Setup, and then we're going to click Preferences. We've already discussed configuring the source fields, configuring your receipts and your forms, and a couple of other things, and now we're going to discuss the rest of the options on this tab. First, let's talk about Send a Quote Control JMail. If you put a check mark in this box, it will send a JMail reminding you to follow up on any quote that is 1 day old, more than 1 day old, and still in pending quote status. Keep in mind that a lot of these fields, if you hover over them, they will tell you what they do. The next thing we're going to discuss is the display referral message. This goes along with your source field, and if your source is a referral and you put in one of your existing clients as the referee, the next time you pull up that client, it will pop up a message that says Donald Duck referred this person, this person, this person, and you can thank them. Let's talk about change due. In the receipting function, Genesis will actually tell you how much change is due on the receipt, but if you need a visual reminder, you can put a check mark here and it will pop up a form that tells you how much change is due for each receipt. You have the ability to tell Genesis not to check for prior terms on payments by putting a check mark here. You can hide your AD&D and Premium Finance tabs, which I'll show you where those are when you are inside of a client's policy. Your finance information is right here in the center. So if you choose to hide those, it will hide the premium finance and the AD&D that's in this section. Under more options, we have the ability to make a survey pop up when we print out our receipts. We can do it never. We can do it with new business, with renewals, with both, or we can make it pop up on every receipt, even when we do an installment. The next thing in here is to include a date paid when making policies active. So let's talk about that for a minute, because it also goes along with these disable system cancellations, and I'm going to talk about both of those at the same time. Whenever you enter a client into Genesis, you have an effective date for the policy. The gist is that you're going to come in here, put in a new receipt, and Genesis is going to put a date in this term date paid field, indicating that that policy's been paid for. Same thing happens when you do downloads and you add renewals or anything like that. So if you're not using the receipting function, no date ever gets put in this field, and on 1/14, Genesis is going to cancel this policy because it thinks it hasn't been paid for. If you do not take payments in your office, you are going to probably want to disable system cancellations by placing a check mark here, and you're probably also going to want to put a date paid in that field when you are making these policies active when adding them from the downloads. So that's what those two things do. Now let's move over here. You can force your agents to verify email addresses by putting something in this box. You can either choose never, you can choose 6 months, or you can choose 12 months. You also can set your finance calculator down payment percentage here. This SMTP email server is automatically configured by Genesis, so you generally will not need to mess with this section. If you do, you can certainly call and ask us for help. You can tell Genesis to ask additional endorsement questions. The hover over will tell you what those are, and you can also make it prompt you to show you your unresolved suspenses. A suspense is a to-do item that you're going to create, and you can see on my screen they all show up here in this section. So if I have any unresolved ones and I have this checked, Genesis is going to tell me that I have unresolved suspenses. And the last thing on this page is I can make it pop up a message on my screen anytime I do a new business policy. So if there's something you need to make sure that you or your agents do for new business, you can remind them with this pop-up message. And that is it for your preferences configuration. Hope that you guys this helps you guys. If you have any questions, let us know. Thanks.